Hey gamers, welcome back to Banished Souls Cryptic Gaming here with our little pal Half Squat. Nah, it's no leg Johnny. Actually, it looks like some poor soul is glitched into the floor. Sucks to be them. So we're going to be discussing a build I'm working on. I've always enjoyed sloop ships. I've been hoping to get one up to par, something that's going to be able to actually hang in there with us. So currently what I have is a level 5. Now earlier today I took this to a 4. And it took the resources and then failed. And then when I finally went to take it to a 6 earlier, it took the resources and then failed again. So now I've got to get one more upgrade part. I got to finish refining some that casting sand over to dry casting sand as well. Then waiting on pieces of 8. But by tomorrow it should be a level 6. But pretty good stats on this. So we want to go over this real quick with you. With the upgrade going to level 6, you will be looking at with the right weapons equipped, this ship is able to stand toe-to-toe with multiple enemies, is what it says. So DPS specialized in dealing damage. Status effects, the DPS favors an aggressive play style, means you need to be up in there like with the sandbuck. That's what they call outbursts. This explosive hits have a 50% chance of triggering an explosion which deals 1500 damage within a blast radius of 150 meters. That is bigger than the sandbuck, pretty comparable to the barge as well. Increased damage to structure by 40% and explosive damage by 15%. So fantastic stuff on that outburst perk. Then heavy arsenal, able to equip front weapons, auxiliary weapons, and unlocks rear gun ports. That's right, we have rear gun ports down the sloop, and it is awesome. Reduces the reload time by 10% once you hit that level 6, so that's going to be nice as well. Then you get that river rat perk, which is going to improve your speed, trimming, speed, and traversing rivers. So when you're in the river, you're going to have more speed. You're going to be able to turn a lot better and all, which is sounding pretty cool. Then the new perk Ruin, its explosive damage hit decreases enemy weapon damage by 10%. Another great perk to be on that ship. So base ship rank right now is 6. Whole health is 45,000. That's greater than the sandbuck if I'm not mistaken. Race strength 9,000, speed 11 knots, trimming speed 14 knots. We actually get about 15 to 16 out of this using the Leviathan armor. We're going to explain why. And then cargo is 65,000. Great cargo. It really is, especially compared to some of the things like brigantines and stuff like that. Stamina 100%. You have a bow weapon, broadsides, you have your stern, and then of course your auxiliary, so your all weapon slots are available. You have 6 weapon slot or furniture slots. So let's go to the ship build, show you what we've got going so far, guys. Pretty excited about this. Took it out on the water a little while ago, and we'll show you that at the end of the video. So managing our ship, weapons, we have fire. We're not in the right ship. Let's change our ship. Now I need to come up with a cool name for it though still, because it's making it hard to find. There she is. We might name it here. Okay, so weapons. Currently have fire bombard 3s all the way around. That's right. Amazing, amazing stuff. Great explosive damage. So you're going to get the explosive 2 perk with that. 20% damage of explosive damage in a 35 meter blast radius. It also adds 10% damage as burning damage. Fires 435, explosives 870. Weak point damage 150%. Blast radius is the 35 meter based on this. Of course, with the upgrades we have the 150 meter blast radius once we get to level 6, which is going to be amazing. It's just awesome, man. So auxiliary port, need to show you that one. So we put the Warhammer on the auxiliary port. It's just one of my favorite weapons, man. I am loving that thing so much. So we put the Leviathan armor on here. It says tough yet sleek armor crafted from mighty Lestari. Improves sailing speed. That's right. It improves your sailing speed. It gives you about 1.5 to 2 knots is what it's giving on this ship. So not too bad. What it does on larger ships, I don't know. I've thought about maybe trying it on the brig, but right now I've got it retired to just collecting pieces of 8. I wasn't real happy with the new brig ship personally, so when they asked me if I thought it's worth bringing to upgrade for the style of fighting I do, I wished I hadn't. But there are those who are real good with those fast ships, you know, long distance stuff. So it's a great ship for that, especially if you're in a fleet of guys. It's going to help to keep their auxiliary weapons firing off a lot quicker as well with that level 6 perk on that. So you're going to get the explosive zero, man. You got to watch out for explosive damage. You got 23% defense against flooding. So if you're out and about in the large waters and you're catching those torpedoes, it's going to help with some of that flooding damage. It's going to help with fire. It's going to help with piercing. Doesn't do much for explosive, unfortunately. It's got hydrodynamic for every knot of sailing speed. It's going to increase the armor by 1%. So we're pulling 14, 15, sometimes 16 knots without using water barrels. So you're looking at a 14% increase there. Here's what I really like about it. Impenetrable reduces weak point damage by 20%. Now, this is a smaller ship compared to most other ships. It is already going to be harder for people to hit those weak points, because as the ships got larger, so did the weak points. Now as the ships get smaller, so did the weak points. So a lot of fun trying to hit those little fast movers, man. Now, I had originally thought about potentially putting the Black Prince on there, and we still may go to that. Haven't decided yet. Or Rhapsody of the Deep with the unsinkable iron plastron perk on there, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what the piercing damage is. Could be pretty good for this ship. We'll just have to play around with the armor a little bit, but that's what we're running right now. Then of course furniture is what everybody wants to know. So Scrapper Station, restoring 8,000 whole health after a crew attack. Definitely recommend having that on a ship. The Bombard Minosaur increases bombard damage by 10%, increases damage structures by 8%, increases repair amount from repair weapons by 5. Now I'm not using repair weapons, but we are using bombards all the way around this bad boy. Then of course our Bombard Grinder increases projectile speed by 15%. The Rocket Furnace is going to increase maximum range of rockets by 10%. I had originally thought about picking up another, what was that thing called? It was the rocket furniture in the actual black market, but I'm going to try it like this to begin with. Then of course our Bombard works, increases elemental damage multiplier of bombards by 19%. So let's go and see exactly what this ship will do right now. Then your cosmetics, those are purely optional. We are of course running the Plague stuff mixed with a little bit of that Roadman going with the black hole on there. So I think it looks pretty sweet. Let us set sail. So bombards and rockets, how will they do? Well, obviously we could take the channel next to us. We're going to shoot across and come across some larger ships for this test here, because it's just not going to give a very, it's going to look effective and impressive when we shoot these small ships over here, but you're talking rafts and ships that are smaller than this thing. So obviously we want to put it against something a little bit bigger when we get out here in the open sea. Okay, so we have a wind blowing straight in on us. If we put that wind to our back, see what we can get on our speed here. There's a sweet spot up here somewhere. Okay, we're getting about 14 knots there. And I just got the dreaded your batteries is low. I'm going to have to switch that. Hopefully it doesn't mess up our stream, folks. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. I need to start checking that again before I start doing a video. Okay, now that we're glowing up, we got that nice green. I had originally thought about using that Rifle Ward on here, which is the armor where if you bump into them, it leaves that gas effect on the water. It does a pretty good, I think it's a 30-meter range or 30-meter radius or something like that. I may end up going with that. We're just testing out this Leviathan armor. Once we get up here in the rivers is where this boat really starts to shine. It's pretty decent on the open water. Now you'd have to go out of full trim to get some real good response out of it, but it's still not a bad ship. Okay, so obviously these are not going to be good tests for us, but we're going to go ahead and nuke them out of the water. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had bombards in my primary. Here we go, that was a hit. Just in case he's not sunk. So where this thing really starts to shine is the fact that you can keep a pretty decent speed and actually be able to make a aggressive turn in these. So I'm thinking this could actually be a pretty good little setup for these races if that's something you're looking at doing with the time trials. Me personally, I'm not too big into time trial stuff, but like I say, I run them. I don't even know where I finish at. I just run it to get it over with for the day so I get the points. Doesn't look like there's anything good in that pass as of right now. Hopefully those points will transfer over to the Summer Fiesta event. Hopefully there'll be something great in there is what I'm kind of hoping for. Okay, we're going to continue to cut through here. You still get those wind effects pretty bad. I just don't know what they done. I thought they kind of had it where it was fairly balanced there, but after the new season started, it's like we started back at square one. So hopefully it's something they're going to adjust come Monday. So if you're wondering what's going to be coming out of the pass next week, man, my understanding of it is we're going to be getting the Remorse bounty back, or it'll be a mission along that line, and it's supposed to have those campaigny screens and then a Hubach tuning station. So I'm definitely looking forward to grinding that thing out. Most everything else looks like it's pretty much staying the same as far as we're going to be getting that. Then the week after that, we should be looking at getting that Megalostari, or the very large Megalodon, and then they're going to start rotating the Zamaharabu, the very large Tularosaurus that we fought. He's going to come back in. At some point, we're going to get Roadman Godin back. So they're going to be cycling a lot of the content, some of that content from last season. Now they will have new drops. I don't know if some of the old existing drops will still be available or not through those ships. That's something they've not mentioned yet. So my guess is if you missed it, it's probably missed. But you'll be able to get some new gear and stuff like that from them as well. So what I am looking for is any ship that is bigger than me, because we want to give this a true test. So I think we're going to have to end up going up into the storm here, because there's just no way this little barge here is going to take the brunt of what we throw at it. How many of us would love to have that when we first started this game? Way better than the other rockets. The termites did pretty decent against forts, I'll give it that. But yeah, so as you can say, decent. It's not the greatest ship on the water. All ships are going to have strengths and weaknesses, but it holds a pretty nice little speed. I mean, it's not as fast as a brigantine or a brig, but it's going to hang in there with sandbucks. One of our guys built a barge yesterday and it was out in the ocean. Now, of course, you can knock them around in the water a little bit, stuff like that, but he was right there in the battle and dealing out just with like the rest of us, because it does have such great perks. It's kind of a sleeper ship. You come rolling up in PvP on somebody that's in level 1 sandbuck in this thing, you're going to smoke his sandbuck. Same with the brigantine. So, I ran across that today. There was some guys running a helm wager. I decided I wanted 1,200 pieces of 8 because, hey, don't want to have to wait as long to get my ship. So I went ahead and jumped in helm wager, busted him, took his 8s. Then apparently he had a buddy in server who came over and then ended up sinking the original guy again, plus the other guy, and made it right into the dock with the stuff and kept his 8s, I guess I should say. So it worked out pretty good for me. But yeah, it's pretty nice. I mean, I like to pirate around like anybody else, and the fact that this ship is just can slam with the rest of them, man, I love it. I don't think people were expecting it. Now, I have went into stuff with level 6 sandbuck as well. That was with this ship, guys. This is level 5. That's where I was just telling you about. But I have gone into those with level 6 sandbucks. There's a lot of guys that maybe have level 2. Let me tell you, level 2 is not going to compete with that 6 because of the extra damage that you're getting, those reload speeds and things like that. With some of the furniture we got on there, it is going to melt your face off on that ship. Wow, I am just not seeing. Was that some over to our left? It is. Okay, cool. We finally got some fast movers. We'll go over and see what these weapons will do on these guys. Like I say, this isn't to the 6 yet, but it still has some pretty decent perks at level 5. And it gives that, you know, that old nostalgia feel. Remember when we were in these small holes coming against everything that's so big? Well, we are definitely a lot tougher than we used to be. So they're not going to be pushing us around the seas anymore. I tell you what, man, this is just a very long way to get to. We should have fast traveled up here, I guess, to begin with. That's my fault, guys. Typically, when I make these videos, I've got some helm wagers and stuff on me, but I didn't get all that set up ahead of time, so you're just kind of at the mercy of the spawns here. But it looks like we've got 3 or 4 ships here. We got 3, so that's going to be pretty good. Now, of course, we know the Warhammer is going to just decimate those ships right off the bat, so let's get up in there with our bombards and see what kind of damage we can do. Of course, we have those quartz fleets as well, so I guess we're fixing to get a workout here. You were just in time for a great sea trial, guys. See how this thing holds up. Like I said, I've not had any a whole lot of interaction with these ships with this armor, so we're going to see exactly what can happen. I've honestly thought about trying to Ouroboros armor on this thing, to be honest, but a little surprise back here. Something to think about. Gotta say, doing a lot better than a level, you know, the original Sloop, because that original Sloop would just shred down pretty easy. Objects in the screen are a heck of a lot closer than they appear. I'm just really small. So now what I want to do is I want to come over here. I noticed I picked up a Hubok mechanism. I'm going to dump that off my ship. The reason I'm going to dump it off my ship is I want to be able to get to a fast travel location. I have to deal with farming a bunch of those ships. So we still got somebody on us. Look at that. So this does pretty decent job against torpedo damage. Or flooding damage, I guess you could call it. I mean, what a sleeper vessel. Who would have thought that you'd ever seen a sloop get up and actually be able to compete with these new ships that are coming in, racing up. Does a good job blocking the torpedo. That was a full spread right to the side. Take this fella out. Of course, that'll be our scrapper station. Going to heal us up there. And finish him off with them torpedoes. I mean rockets. They weren't quite loaded up yet though. There we go. Alright. Beautiful job and heading to port, guys. So yeah, that is my new sloop build. I gotta tell you, thoroughly impressed with it. It is a beast. Just hangs in there. Probably a little bit tougher than a level 6 sandbuck, if I'm not lying, man. Just being honest about it. Heck of a lot cheaper to upgrade to, but if you're looking for a small vessel that you can have a lot of fun with, and you love the sandbuck, you love that barge or the Patagon, you want something just kind of small, harder to hit, definitely give that sloop a look, or even the barge. It has great effects as well for the wildfire effects. For those who are unfamiliar with that, it's like a blaze, quite a bit stronger. But yeah, another great ship. So we're definitely going to be bringing us a barge up to spec on a level 6 as well. They have definitely given new life to these lower level boats, these smaller hulls. And I am glad to see that, man, because it was like we used them, and just as soon as we could get at them, we was ready to be done with these ships originally to get to those medium hulls. But It is kind of nice being back in a small hole, just kind of messing around and not having to worry about those ships completely annihilating you while you're on the sea. So have a wonderful day. It looks like we're almost at the fast travel point. I am going to hop off here.